Good morning, everybody, from a very rainy Valdez, Alaska. Today, I'm going to be riding on a boat on the Prince William Sound. So, let's see what animals and adventures I can get into. Off we go.
All right, well, once again, good morning, everybody. Welcome on board the Glacier Spirit here. Altogether, we're going to cover roughly about 90 to 100 miles on our travels here today. In the water from the surface down to about 65 feet deep. Now, as you can see, it's supported on the top by the white and yellow corks. It's held straight down in the water by a lead line at the bottom, and the mesh on the net is actually very small. They're not actually trying to catch the fish in the net itself. They're actually using the net as a big corral or a pen to gather the fish in the middle. Now, the idea is that the salmon are fairly predictable. They run the shorelines trying to find their way back to the spawning areas. So, one end of the net, right up against the shore, the fish run down the shore and counter the net as an obstacle. And then they start trying to find their way around it. And coming out by the big boat, the main boat here, you can see one of the crew on the back deck there has a pole, keeps thrusting it into the water. Now, they do have a cup on the end of that pole. Every time it hits the water, it makes a popping noise, and hopefully it scares the fish back into the net. Now, they will keep doing this until they think they have enough fish in the net, and then at that point they will pull the two ends back together. Now, the skiff will pass off his end of the net to the bigger boat. At that point, the rest of the crew have to go to work. They have to start pulling the purse line at the very bottom of the net together into a big basket. And they'll also start restacking the net back on board. Now, once they get the net pursed up, everything in their net will be their catch for that set. Kind of stair stepping its way down through the hillside there. There'll be several of them in this area. Now, the reason we can travel this close to the shoreline and still have over 500 feet of water below us is because Prince William Sound itself is just one great big glacially carved fjord, carved out during the last ice age by a sheet of ice extending from the Chugach Mountains all the way out to the Gulf of Alaska, so 70 miles out in front of us. As the ice retreated back, it left some fairly deep waterways. But a general rule of thumb is it's either really deep or really shallow really quick.
Look at this waterfall.
Stellar sea lions are typically more tan color when they're dry. Full-grown male stellar sea lions can be 11 to 12 feet long and upwards of 2,400 pounds. Females are more of a slimmer, trimmer, 600 to 700 pounds. But sea lions are always out here. Point Bullhead is a haul-out area. It's actually one of the few places that the sea lions occupy on a year-round basis. Now, a haul-out is just a big lounge. A rookery is a breeding area, and the closest rookery to us is about 57 miles to our left and just outside of Prince William Sound. So all these animals that we'll see here are also juvenile males and juvenile females primarily.
So apparently these green little fluffy weed looking things on the rock, they call those pop weeds because when you step on them, they sound like you're stepping on bubble wrap. So all glacier mixed with gravel and rock of the mountain, because the glacier is always moving, sliding down. Well, my cruise through Port William Sound is over. I'm back at the Port of Valdez, and I had a great day. I got to see glaciers, learn about icebergs, saw a bunch of seals and sea lions. It was really, really fun. I did freeze to death. My gloves are still wet. It was very cold. I learned some things for the next time I come to see glaciers, but overall, I loved it. Definitely recommend checking it out. It's a really beautiful trip. Thanks for tagging along on this adventure, guys. See you in the next place. Okay, so I have a very, very early morning tomorrow. I have to be packed up and out of here by 6 a.m. So I'm gonna do my video tonight before I go to bed so you can see what the hotel looked like. I've been staying in Valdez, Alaska, which has been an interesting place, but there's some neat history here, like some unique bad juju kind of history. Valdez is the location of the United States' strongest earthquake on record. It was like 9 something on the Richter scale and really decimated this town. They had to move just about everything that was left here to new locations. There's a new Valdez. But the interesting thing about it was that it happened on Good Friday. Fast forward a few years to the late 80s, and the Valdez oil spill also happened on a Good Friday. So for you would-be adventurers or travelers, don't be in Valdez on Good Friday. Apparently there's some really bad karma there around that day. But anyway, I have enjoyed my stay here. The hotel was fabulous. I really liked the room. It was super comfy. Beds were great. And the people were just so sweet. Great stay here. I'm at the Totem Hotel, just like Totem Pole. But let me show you what the room looks like. So Valdez is a really small town. There's just a few little restaurants around. A lot of fishing, like if you want to fish and ship fish or seafood back home, great for that. This is a bathroom, stand-up shower, little kitchenette with little mini fridge and a microwave. The bed was so comfortable. It might be the most comfortable bed I've had at a hotel ever. It was super comfortable. And the couch over there was super comfy too. Desk, you can see I'm about to paint, painting stuff there, and I'm getting all packed up for in the morning. So that's it from Valdez. I'm signing off. See y'all in the next place.